This is going to, I think, tag on to what we're talking about, that the knowing of our own being doesn't require a mind, body, or world to know itself. How do I know that?
Is your experience of being aware continuous? Just 2 tick boxes, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know anything of a mind, a body, or a world other than thoughts, sensations, and perceptions?
No.
Is any thought, sensation, or perception continuous?
Negative.
How could something that is discontinuous know something that is continuous?
Good question.
You ask yourself that question, follow it to the end, you'll get the answer to your question. How can a temporary appearance know something that is ever present? In between 2 thoughts, there is no mind. Thought is just mind. In between 2 thoughts, there is no mind. But you have said correctly from your experience that the experience of being aware is continuous. It is the same awareness that knows thought number 1, that knows thought number 2. Awareness continues throughout all experience. But experience, in this context, is a series of intermittent thoughts and perceptions.
Mm-hmm.
So in between 2 thoughts, what is it that is knowing the experience of being aware?
Knowing.
The experience of being aware. The experience of being aware is continuous.
Yeah.
So when a thought comes to an end, the experience of being aware doesn't come to an end.
Correct.
How do you know then that the experience of being aware is continuous? What is it that experiences the experience of being aware? If a thought experienced the experience of being aware, then when that thought came to an end, the experience of being aware would come to an end with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yes.
If the screen was identical to the image, when the image came to an end, the screen would come to an end too. It doesn't. The image comes to an end, but the screen continues. When the next image appears, it's an appearance on the same screen. Yes? Okay. Thoughts are discontinuous, but they all appear in the same awareness. Now, in the gap between those 2 thoughts, we have the experience of awareness being present. You admitted, it is our experience, I am continuously aware. What is it that knows that in the absence of thought? What is there present to know it?
Awareness.
Yes. There's nothing else present in between 2 thoughts. So you have the right experience, but the wrong interpretation. It is your experience, I, awareness, am continuous, but the mind is discontinuous. And that is your simple experience. You've acknowledged it.
Right.
What is taking place is that a belief that you have been brought up with, the belief system of our world culture, is now clashing with your experience.
What's the belief that...
The belief is that consciousness, and this was what your question was, consciousness is known by the finite mind. That's materialism. That's the belief. Consciousness depends on the body.
Right.
It clashes with your experience, but you cannot quite, when I say your mind cannot quite accept the implications of your experience.
naturally.
Like Albert Camus said after he went to visit Jean Klein a couple of weeks before his death. He came out and he said, "I just can't believe it." He obviously had this recognition. He said, "It's just too much. I can't believe it. It competes so profoundly with my beliefs. I'm not willing to let my beliefs go." This model that there is an exterior world made out of dead inert stuff called matter. No, I've moved on now. It was Camus who said that after his meeting with Jean Klein. I'm now going back to us, although it was true of him as well. That it's too much. We are so, even those of us who have been on the spiritual path for 20, 30, 40 years, that the deep belief that matter is the reality of experience.
Because it seems to be our experience.
Because it seems to be. Because that's what the senses tell us. Einstein said, common sense, the evidence of the senses, is just a series of prejudices that most people adopt by the age of 18.
Or
The
3
evidence
years.
of the senses is just prejudice. We cannot look to the evidence of the senses if we want to know about reality. We have to look to the nature of the one that knows the senses. Unless we know the nature of the knower, nothing true about the known can be known. That is why the science of consciousness is the ultimate science. It has to be. I know that this debate has, Parmenides called this debate a debate between the way of truth and the way of opinion. It's what we're talking about here, the way of experience or the way of belief. What are we going to test the reality of our experience with? There are two possibilities. It's either experience or it's belief. What are we going to rely on? We have to agree that something, we're going to measure the truth of our experience against something. Is it going to be a series of beliefs that we've adopted from our culture? Or is it going to be experience? That's the only thing I ask you to agree about here, is to make experience the test of reality. Is it such an outrageous proposition?
No.
Just be willing for a week. We're in this beautiful space, a group of friends living together for a week. Just be willing to put all your beliefs, including all your non-dual beliefs, including everything that I say, be willing to put them all on one side. I don't ask you to get rid of them. Just put them on one side. Leave them on the doorstep. And just because otherwise it's not worth being here. You know, you've given up. You've paid good money to be here. You've given up a week of your time. Participate totally in the experiment. Consider it an experiment.
Oh, yeah.
Don't feel that I'm trying to persuade you that something is true rather than something. No, just be willing to participate in the experiment. And the experiment is this. I'm going to leave all my ideas about reality on one side. And I'm only going to refer to experience. My experience. Not Rupert's experience, not anybody else's experience, my experience. And I'm only going to say, yes, that's true. If it's true of my experience, try it. See what happens.
I will do that.